Hi everyone, it's Aunt Fernita. Today's story is called Forgiveness Fire. The memory verse is from Isaiah chapter 6, verse 7. It says, "Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for." Today's message is, because of God's grace, my sins are forgiven when I ask Him. Have you ever had to tell someone something that you didn't want to tell them? Isaiah didn't think he was good enough to be God's messenger. God used an unusual way to encourage him. One day, Isaiah was visiting the temple. Suddenly, he seemed to be standing in heaven in a dazzling room, looking towards God on his throne. Glittering rainbows, as though thrown from a gigantic diamond, danced across the space. God's royal robe draped down the platform of his throne and seemed to fill the room. A sacred altar to one side had bright orange, burning coals with a drift of smoke rising from it. And what were those bright and shining creatures flying above God's head? Isaiah studied the creatures. Angels! They were angels called seraphim, with 6 wings. With 2 of their wings, they covered their faces. They did not look at God because He was so holy. With 2 other wings, they covered their feet, probably so they would not touch God. And with the 2 remaining wings, the angels were flying above God's head. The whole room rang with angels' beautiful music. It was so powerful, the doorpost shook. Isaiah's whole body tingled. Soon, smoke from the altar filled the room. But Isaiah sensed it was not dangerous. It was holy. God's presence seemed to be a part of the smoke that surrounded Isaiah with warmth. But what were the angels singing? Isaiah listened carefully. They were calling to one another, saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of His glory." When Isaiah realized where he was, he began to cry. "I don't belong here with God," he said. "I have said things that I should not have said. I live with people who aren't kind to each other all the time, and I'm not always good to them. I'm not good enough to be here with God. And yet, here I am. What is God going to do with me next?" As he stood there with his face upturned, he saw one of the seraphim, an angel, fly to the altar. The angel took some tongs and very carefully lifted a burning coal. Then the angel flew to Isaiah and touched his lips with the glowing coal. It didn't hurt and it didn't burn. The angel said very gently, "See, this has touched your lips. The guilt is taken away." A wonderful sense of relief washed over Isaiah. His sins were gone. Before he could thank God for this blessing, God spoke to him. He spoke like a kind father, concerned about his children because his children wouldn't listen to him. God said, "Whom shall I send to take my messages to the people?" Immediately Isaiah said, "Here I am, Lord. Send me." With renewed love for God, he was ready to be God's messenger. God didn't force Isaiah to be a prophet. He first showed his love to Isaiah. Then he allowed Isaiah to volunteer. This was the beginning. For more than 60 years, Isaiah delivered God's messages to God's people. God loved Isaiah just as he was. We call that love grace. And because of God's grace, Isaiah always chose to follow God. And God is still reaching out with love to each one of us. God offers us the same promise of forgiveness that He gave to Isaiah. If you believe Him and confess your sins like Isaiah did, the gift of forgiveness is yours. God is a Father who keeps His promises. He will always love you.
This podcast is read by Franita Buddy for Gracelink.net. Created and produced by Falvo Fowler. Post-produced by Faith Toe at Studio El Piso. The theme music is by Clayton Kinney. Animation and artwork by Giogo Godoy. The audio engineer was Karel Holness. For more information, please visit Gracelink.net.